Hey Northview fourth graders, it is your last week of fourth grade. Unbelievable, right? You've been doing a great job with all this e-learning and all this schoolwork that's been such a different way to end our school year than what we would have expected. But one of the activities we would have done in class was to write letters to students who are our future fourth graders, who are going to be in the position that you were in last year, where you walked into fourth grade on that first day of school. You were probably a little nervous to meet your new teacher and to figure out who was going to be in your class and to learn all of the new things that come along with being in the next grade level. But as end of the year fourth graders, you are experts in this. And it is time to share your wisdom with those fourth graders who are coming into our classes next year. So you will be writing a letter to them. This letter will be shared with them on the first day of school. It should have a pretty serious tone. Most kids are nervous on the first day of school, especially starting out with a brand new teacher. And so make sure that, we don't have the silly tone that we had in some of our camp letters last week, which was perfect for that audience. As a matter of fact, I loved reading your camp letters and the silliness that you had in those. But for this particular assignment, I want you to really think about how you can help a fourth grader who's sitting in their chair and worried perhaps a little bit on that first day of school or super excited on that first day of school to get them used to being in their new class and hopefully settle them down a little bit for their new school year. So we will be sharing these on the first day of school next year. So we would love to have some great letters from you to share with them. This activity is just like the camp letters last week, so my directions here should be pretty quick. Please read these directions, make sure that you understand them, and make sure you read all these directions underneath here as well. One of the things that a lot of you forgot last week was to rename your story. Make sure that you take where it says first name, last name, and put your first name and last name, because when you share them with your teacher and they all say first name, last name, and then it's really hard for us to figure out whose they are. So that's kind of like putting your name on your paper, is renaming the file so that it has your first name and last name. To get started with your letter, you're going to click the blue link that says Dear Fourth Graders. It will ask you once again to make a copy of this document. It might ask you to log into your Google account if you're not already logged into the Google account. That information is on your Canvas page, but since you're expert fourth graders, you should already know how to do that. You're going to click Make a Copy, of course. The first thing I would do is come up here and rename it, replacing first name and last name with your first name and your last name so that we know who wrote those letters. And then, like last week, you're clicking in the highlighted areas to answer some questions and share some advice to next year's fourth graders. The one thing that might be confusing is welcome to Blank's room. Who are you writing to? Well, Mr. McDaniel's kids write to Mr. McDaniel's students in the future, so this would say Mr. McDaniel's room. If you're in Mrs. Hefner's class, then you would write welcome to Mrs. Hefner's room and give advice about your teacher. Have fun with this, but also be pretty serious with it too. Give them good advice that's going to help them have a great fourth grade next year. I can't believe that you guys are fifth graders after this Friday, but it's been a great journey with all of you. Enjoy your last week of fourth grade and enjoy writing a letter to next year's fourth grade students.